premier metropolis of the Philippines. Its population of over 14 million people is exploding all over, with more than half of them living in grinding poverty. The streets of the city are overcrowded, noisy, and polluted. Balic Balic is the name of a place where one of the city roads crosses a busy railway track. Looking down this track, we see it is teeming with life. Thousands of destitute Filipinos live in this hazardous environment. Flimsy homes are fashioned out of scraps, erected perilously within a few feet of the railway. The tracks are not off limits, but are used as a common thoroughfare, and even a place to rest and relax. Three or four times an hour, a train speeds by almost unnoticed. From time to time, children are indeed fatally injured, but life goes on. This is Balic Balic Church, a simple building on the edge of the tracks. Here, believers meet for worship, Bible study, and prayer, punctuated from time to time by the loud hoot of the passing trains. Many of the men in Balic Balic community have very little or no employment. Families have to live on just a few pesos a day for their food, water, clothing, and housing. Some of the homes in Balic Balic are built along the canal. Many of these homes are built from discarded material, pieces of wood, rusty corrugated iron, and even cardboard. The water outside their windows is very polluted, emitting a strong smell in the hot season. The canal is crossed by the train tracks. There is a bridge also for the people who live here. Sewage from each house flows into the water below. The distribution pipes for water run dangerously close to the polluted water. Typhoid and intestinal diseases are commonplace here. The mosquito-borne dengue is an ever-present threat, especially to the little children. Garbage is all over, an ever-present decoration. Some of the homes make use of plastic as construction material. Many people within this community have to collect their water from public water taps. Early in the morning, people stand waiting in line for this precious commodity. So what good news can you bring to this mother with her young family? So many children, and each one so precious. Each made in the image of God. Each one with the potential to do great things. We begin by teaching the Bible. Frederick leads his class, and the children eagerly learn God's Word. Denny Francisco is the pastor of Balic Balic Church. He is also active in community development. The youth of Balic Balic love to play basketball. The sport can be a great way to begin to work with the young people of the community. Pastor Danny organizes competitions between the youth of this area and other urban poor areas. Alley 1, Alley 2, Alley 3, such drab names for an area that offers little to inspire the luxury of imagination. The men feel powerless to raise themselves from this poverty trap. Many try their luck and gamble on the frequent cockfighting. These precious birds are well kept, caressed, and pampered, sometimes even more than the children. Others will try their luck on cards. And many succumb to the temptation to seek pleasure in drugs that promise momentary escape from the miserable reality of their poverty. Only the Word of God can give meaning and bring liberation. This is the reason why Bible study has high priority in Buchan, Liwayway. The young people involved are taught the Word of God. They show eagerness to learn. Many of them become believers and begin life anew. Alternative forms of recreation are offered to help them avoid the many temptations they usually encounter. This assistant pastor was once a street boy. He understands all their problems. Hopefully the boys will grow up like Sammy, one of the few Christian men here in Balic Balic. When men pray, God acts. And when the word of wisdom and truth is preached, hearts are touched and moved. Bukang Liwaiwai offers a Christian preschool program for children. And it has a livelihood program for the mothers and youth. This finished cross-stitch is sold in order to support some of the youth in school and in college. The cross-stitch is bound for the export market, so it has to be checked several times. Each worker receives an allowance for their work, but all know that the profit is for the youth of the community. It is important that the young people feel cared for as well as provided for. Pastor Danny builds a foundation of good relationships. He laughs with them and is available to offer help in time of need. Each week after Bible study, the youth of Bukang Liwaiwai receive their lunch money. Rose is one of the youth leaders, and Nanette is the preschool teacher. Marie was recently appointed area manager for Balic Balic. Please pray for Marie and all the workers here. The people of Balic Balic have realized the value of prayer. The good news is not by word alone, but by love in action and by the power of God unleashed through prayer. Please pray for the people of Balic Balic who live in such a life of uncertainty and insecurity. Pray that they come to know that God is not willing that any should perish, but that all would come to Him and receive liberation from sin and suffering. Pray for Bukang Liwaiwai, the breaking of the dawn, for the urban poor, the promise of the rising sun. May God's sun indeed be lifted up here in Balic